All right. Hi, we're
Hi.
back. We're back once again.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
It's a little hot.
It has been very hot. I just came back from Mississippi, so this actually feels
Right.
cooler than it was. It was probably 100 degrees there.
And what's the humidity? Like high?
Yeah, definitely high. We had a family cookout, and two of my cousins and I almost succumbed to the heat because we were in charge of serving, and it was tough. Thank goodness we have medical professionals in the family.
Good. Did you stroke out?
I did not, but it got pretty close. My cousin is a newly minted nurse practitioner. She's been a nurse for over 20 years. She immediately took action and got us all. It was fine. It was fine.
Get you on IV or just?
No, we just got us cold compresses.
Yeah, okay, good.
But the family cookout was a big success. We celebrated my mom's 85th birthday a little early and a few months early, but since we were
All together
and on the homestead where she grew up, it felt fitting. And cousins came from all over the country, California, Texas, and everywhere in between to celebrate. So
You're brave going to the south in this summer heat.
It was quite an experience.
And did you drive again?
I did. I drove. My sister drove like 2 hours of the way down, and the way home I drove all the way back.
How long?
14 hours.
Dang. Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, but that's over with.
Yes. Then I drove the 2 hours back up here, so it was a full day. Then back to work.
Yeah.
Back to work. It's over. How was your 4th?
The 4th was good. I was up in the UP.
Okay.
And now I left the kids up there. They have theater camp in Sault Ste. Marie.
Theater camp.
So every day they go for a full day, and then by the end of the week they perform a musical. They learn all their parts, all the songs, all the dances.
Every day?
Every day they go 10 to 3, and my mom's usually one of the teachers. She's a music teacher.
Okay.
And they've been doing it since, I think Chase was in his first 101 Dalmatians at 5, and he's 17 now, so every year. But the funny thing is the middle child last year was like, I'm not doing this. He was too cool. Well, he decided at the last minute, I guess I'll go. And he got the lead. And he's out there with his top hat, singing a solo, just loving it. And the little one is more the ham, and he likes the camera. And so and last year he was like a stray cat or something, his part. And then this year they go, and again William gets it's a story about how a bookstore, all the characters come to life at night. He's Dr. Doolittle. He's one of the main characters. And Maxwell is a gangster, which in the 20s I think just means Irish.
Yeah, could be. So do you get a play-by-play every night? It sounds like you do.
I used to. Now they're doing it. I'm I don't even check in that much. Their season, this is their third play.
Okay.
And so, it used to be how are they doing? And now I'm they're good. And I just roll back up there on Friday.
Pick 'em up.
Performance Friday, performance Saturday. And so I just pretty much will be back in the UP indefinitely.
I imagine it was a little cooler up there than it was in Mississippi.
It's way cooler. It's way cooler than it was. It was 96 down here and 73 up in St. Agnes.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's quite a difference.
It was nice. And the only other thing I've got going on is this hellscape that is trying to eat a certain amount of protein every day. You ever done that?
I have. And, with my food allergies, it's pretty much like chicken breast, right? A little steak here and there. But I can't eat fish. I can't have nuts.
Yeah, that would be harder for you. Although I'm not eating a lot of fish and nuts. So I'm very, very I'm not new at all to focused eating. I've been gluten-free for a decade.
Yeah.
I'm into the biohacking. I eat but I specifically am trying this 120 grams of protein every day. Yeah. It's like a full-time job.
Yeah.
I think about it all the time.
Yeah, do you eat?
I don't want to eat anything. I'm so full. And I'm just how much meat do I have? I staring down the barrel of a meat gun at 8 p.m. God, I'm 50 short. What do I have to, a pork chop? Who wants, if you put a piece of cheese in front of me right now, I'd probably throw it at you. Like, I'm just so tired.
Do you do the shakes? Do you do protein shakes?
Which is like, my ideal is to try to. The problem is I do a lot of that, and like you're supposed to still eat
real food. Yeah.
I'm doing the shakes. I'm getting it's good. I'm gonna keep doing it for a while, but it's way harder than I thought.
Very hard, and you're right. All you think about is food all day long.
Yeah, and not in a good way.
Not in
but like what can I gag down right now that I won't make me angry?
That'll get me 10 more, 12 more grams of protein. Yeah,
20 short, like a death march till bedtime. Okay. Anyways,
no, we have a really exciting guest today. I'm a fellow Detroiter, criminal justice reform advocate. When I Googled him, it said prominent attorney and political strategist.
Oh, that's a pretty good summary.
I thought it was a great summary for like a short sentence.
Yeah. And, we had Greg Kelser, Special K, here a couple weeks ago. And I was thinking, does he remind me of him? He because they're both kind of serious people. Mm-hmm. Greg's got more of the military thing going on, you know? But Butch Hollowell, I don't think we've said his name yet. This has been a mystery. Yeah. He's like this artist. So I've had only a couple of long conversations with him, but my goodness, the music background, sisters that are, he's going to tell us about this, but they're very kind of private school, just a Renaissance man.
Yes.
And he's fun, but we're going to push him today and see. Because I got some new exercises,
yes.
And I think he's a great pilot.
Okay, all right. Well, without further ado, Butch, welcome.
Well, so am I the guinea pig? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, you're a pro.
I'm game.
All right.
I figured you would be.
Awesome. How are you today?
I'm good. I was beating the heat like everybody else, but looking forward to the firing line right here. So I've got my bulletproof vest on underneath my blue blazer.
I was going to say, we're going to take it easy on you,
Right,
I think. Well, we want to have a little bit of fun. I'm fascinated by you. I mean, like, again, you have a long career in politics and at the forefront of a lot of things. And so interested to learn more, but also in a light way, not super stressful.
Yeah.
You don't need a vest.
No.
Okay, good.
Unless it's part of your
Okay, good. All right, well, I'm comfortable.
Good.
Well, you know what I was thinking earlier is an interesting way to maybe get into some stuff. Do you remember, because we're all kind of circling adjacent around each other in our careers and our lives, do you remember the first time you met either of us? And then do you remember the first time you met him?
Yeah, I do. It was pretty recent. So, I mean, while I've known your name most of my life, we had not met. And then when I was working for Speaker Tate, we met, I think, during our campaign season in 24.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah.
And I love him. I love Speaker Tate. I think he did a great job. In fact, I think we were saying I'm having dinner with him this coming week. And good guy. Yeah. But I don't remember the first time. So that was your question.
For either of us. You don't remember when you first met either of us?
No. What was the first time?
Well, I do this because I think you're kind of like the Detroit lawyer, right? That's if I had to pick a way to describe the orbit that is you, it's kind of, and I think I met you, I don't want to say backstage, that sounds weird, but there was a State of the City address.
Yeah.
Way long ago, but it would have been dug in, I think.
2014, 2015, 2016.
Somewhere in there. And I think I was with Dennis Archer, and he was introducing to me some people. And we weren't, I don't want to say backstage, but it was kind of like an area after or before, something like that.
Yeah.
And I remember, were you the city's of Detroit's attorney at that point?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's called Corporation Counsel, which is the chief lawyer for the city of Detroit. But yeah, so Mayor Duggan and I got sworn in together on January 1, 2014. So that would have been one of the State of the City addresses, which was, I mean, those were kind of pretty amazing how he did that. He's been one of my best friends since literally freshman year of high school.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was head of the debate team at University of Detroit Jesuit High School, and he was the head of his debate team at Catholic Central. I was captain of our tennis team at UDI. He was the captain of his tennis team at CC.
Wow,
so,
look at y'all.
And so in those years, you had two inner city Catholic schools that were both ranked in the top 20 in the United States in debate. So we'd fight it out, during the week in the Catholic League, and then we'd be debating each other at the tournament at Northwestern or Bronx Science in New York. So we got to be real good friends. He tried to get me to defect from my high school junior year to go over to see. I said, man, I'm not.
Well, I did not know that. So you were, how many years in total have you represented the city of Detroit in some manner?
Well, technically it was really just those 4 years, January 1, 2014 through December 31 of 2017. So I started as managing partner at Miller at January 1, 2018. Okay. But I've been around City Hall for most of my career, since I got out of law school. Then Mayor Young was really nice to me, and he let me be a gopher and do stuff there. And Carl Levin, who I did an internship for, it was his first intern in D.C. when he first got elected to the Senate. He was on the Detroit City Council. A lot of people forget that. In fact, he was the head of the city council. He was maybe our best city councilman. So, from an early age, I was kind of, carrying their water, being their gopher, learning what, was behind what door and all that. So, yeah, I've been around.
So you've seen some things for sure.
Some things. One thing that I learned, again, it was a brief Googling, but I never knew you ran for political office.
Yeah.
So
Secretary of State.
Secretary of
Wow,
State.
that's
90s
or?
Yeah, I was the party's nominee, and that was the contest against Terry Lynn Land. She spent $4 million of her own money, so it worked out for her. But when you look back, I'm glad I did it. It was you're from the UP. I loved meeting people from everywhere, including the Chippewa County Dems or the Flint or Grand Rapids or you name it. It was a great experience. I was focusing more on voting rights and that aspect of the Secretary of State's office. That's one of my specialties as a lawyer. But I did.
Yeah. You were ahead of your time. I mean, voting rights has always been a major issue, but thinking about where we are right now, it is the main focus, I feel like, in a political campaign these days.
It didn't used to be that way. Yeah. Now, lawyers are the stars of the show for elections. It shouldn't be, but it's good for me client-wise. But nevertheless, it wasn't that way for the longest. I think Bush v. Gore.
I was just going to say
changed it. I think
that is imprinted in the brain of even a teen. I think it was a teenager at the time, and that was so powerful, that whole thing.
I didn't sleep for a month down there on the central team that was litigating the case in Miami under Kendall Coffey. So there were 8 of us.
Wow.
And literally, we didn't sleep for about six weeks.
At least it wasn't July weather.
I know.
That's true. But wow, that is, I didn't know you were a part of that legal team.
Oh, yeah.
Again, Googling and you were a part of Mayor Shetfield's transition team and all these like landmark things. I don't even want to, I'm not going to ask you to rank them. I was thinking like, what's the thing that sticks? Okay, well, go ahead. Tell me.
I mean, by far, no question, the thing I'm most proud of is Project Clean Slate, which I started in December of 2016. So basically, everybody deserves a second chance. And this is for people who are, have nonviolent convictions, and they're trying to get back into the, integrated into society. And everybody deserves that second chance. But it's been really super difficult 50,000 Detroiters were eligible for that. And so, when I kind of launched the program in 2016, nobody said no. Nobody. And we do the initial ones at churches, so they would feel safe, that they wouldn't feel like, okay, is this some kind of a setup?
Yeah,
Because I had judges there, I had prosecutors there, I had the state police there, I had all, and the program basically says, I'll recruit the lawyer. We'll represent you for free.
Okay.
In exchange for you signing up for the city's workforce training program. So I got that from
yes.
Chief Judge Kinney. He said, Butch, don't ever give somebody something for nothing.
Yeah.
And so last month we did a press conference. 10,000 expungements have been granted.
So did this coincide with or was after? Because at the Detroit Chamber, I testified in support of the
It was
automatic expungement, some of the presumptive parole, like that, some of that package. And
it was after. It was 2021 because I worked on that.
Right.
There was something that happened in the
I kicked it off in 2016,
Okay.
and then the legislature began to look at it. The governor began. I remember talking to Governor Whitmer about it at the Mackinac conference, and that had to have been the conference in the spring of 2017. I remember where we were standing when I was kind of talking about it. She says, my God, it's great. And I know no one in the country had done it before.
Yeah, I think it was 2018 that I was doing testimony and stuff.
There were several iterations.
Yeah.
But what finally got across the finish line was in 2021 or 2020. It was in fall of 2020. It was October that the governor signed the bills with the automatic expungement, increased the amount of, nonviolent, multiple misdemeanors are automatically expunged. And the House, it was just the right mix of people, right? Like the speaker at the time and his staff were very interested in seeing something done. The chair of judiciary over in the Senate, now the prosecutor in Macomb County, Pete Lucido, was very interested, and then Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist was very interested. And so it got out the House, was kind of stuck in the Senate because of the price tag, and we were able to reduce the price and get the legislation done. So you're right, it's one of my proudest.
It is. It was something to feel good to be a part of.
Well, and it was Christmas of 2016, and everybody else was going to be out of town for Christmas. So I was acting mayor for that period of time. I wasn't going anywhere. And 36th District Court had put together a ticket amnesty program under the chief judge, but they hadn't put together staff to handle it. And so people were lined up around Ford Field in the cold. This was December of 2016. And the TV crew started coming down saying, wow, I mean, look at all these big lines. But it wasn't being managed. And so people don't know that the court is not under the mayor's office. But I started to get a lot of calls. So make a long story short, I did recruit a bunch of people to go over to the court to help process it. That's where the idea came from. They're standing out in the cold in December to, you maybe bring a check for like $500, and if you have $5,000 worth of fines, you get it all wiped away. But they're desperate to get into, I say, get into the job stream. And anyway, it's been a good success.
Well, and I, not to get too heavy here, but just a very recent example I have when I was up in the UP that it just reminds you of the privilege of being able to navigate a system compared to the average person who's just like, I don't know how to, I couldn't, and frankly, half of state websites or whatever, you or I go on and we're like, I don't know, is there a tab? Or, it takes a minute. But my sister, a couple years ago, not doing well in her life, forgot to renew her license, got a ticket for driving without a license or driving with an expired license. Didn't take care of it, forgot about it, whatever. I mean, she's been very public in this. She was, in the throes of an addiction at that point in time.
Terrible story.
Yeah, doing great though.
Good.
But then never paid it, and then, so she's coming across. Took the kids on a camping trip to Canada, coming back across a couple weeks ago, and she's flagged. She has a warrant. Like, it's been how long she's had this warrant. Who knows? You know, she drive with the expired license, didn't pay her ticket, whatever. Well, my cousin's a border patrol agent over there. So he kind of steps in, and this happens, and let her go, whatever. They basically pass her through and do the thing that they pass along to the court or whatever they do, right? Well, she then, I don't think she'll mind, she went to film 60 Minutes in New York. This happens to be on the day that they gave her the court date. She forgot. We're in New York, and she all of a sudden like turns white and is like, "Oh my God, I think is this? You know, she's got 3 kids. She's gonna be on 60 Minutes. She's a type B. She's a baby of the family. Okay, she's like, you know, and I'm like, well, you're not. You're in New York. What are you gonna do, right? So get back home. She ends up last week turned herself in. Threw in herself for a little bit while her bond payment process. They were very nice, but of course they're nice because I don't know. That's another kind of privilege piece there, right? Like, she's a kind of small little timid white girl kind of thing. But then she then got her summons and had to come back for them to, whether they're going to do a trial or what, because she's now in contempt of court for missing. Well, my dad goes in there with her. Former sheriff, county, you know, former deputy, former prison guard, and he goes in there, and they were kind of confused. Or, does she do this? What is she? You know, and this is it was a little hairy there for a minute. Were they just going to put her in jail? Were they? And my dad goes over and asks the bailiff type guy, "Hey, Jeff Case, my dad used to be the sheriff. My brother's the detective. What is this?" And they're like, "Oh, actually, I'm not sure that's the right." Sorted out. Next thing you know, assistant prosecutor comes in. They just drop the charge. You know, the point is though. Okay, she had a cousin at the border and a dad, you know, and that's
still
just
impossible.
And it almost still ended up with, you know, mom of 3 kids sitting in jail over. Ultimately, it was a driving fine, but it just shows like if you didn't have those people in any one of those situations, you know, she could have. Her babies would be at my house right now, you know, while she sat in jail for 30 days or whatever over.
That's exactly right. And that's one of the things, that's why we did a few things to help with the understanding of a system that's not so easy to understand. Yeah. I got my chief of staff and some other of my staff in the city law department and the city's communications office. We did a movie. So we filmed a mock expungement hearing in front of a judge. And so we had Ellen Ha, who was my chief. She served as the judge, and Doug Baker served as the prosecutor, and I served as the drug defendant. And but we kept playing it on loop as people were going. Thousands of people were going through the workshops that we'd put together and pairing them up with the lawyers that were going to take their case. And we put judges on the stage and prosecutors and law enforcement to talk about, okay, so here's the first part. Here's the second part. Here's the third. That education piece just demystifies
Totally.
There's no reason for it to be so mysterious. Let's get it out there, get it taken care of.
Yep. No. I feel like you have a lot in common with, like, half of our guests, you have some weird connection. So this is, again, his proudest thing, one of your proudest.
It is one of my proudest things.
That's, she's well, we've both done a lot in our life, too. She told me just on the way here that she was in beauty school at some point. I'm like, what? There's so many layers.
Beauty school dropout.
But she quickly talked about the new mayor of Sheffield.
Yes.
And you being named as her transition leader. You know, I think you're still... whether de facto or whatever, part of that team. Now, it feels like there's good energy, and that I think Doug can help set up some of that good energy. But I also feel like a lot of the normal following that Doug can have is kind of just like waiting, like, what's this going to be like? Like they're not. I think they're optimistic, but he had such a distinct type of leadership for a long period of time, and I just think it just feels like a little question marky.
Well, it's always the case when you have a transition of one mayor to the next mayor, and also particularly in Detroit mayoral elections, there's a pendulum. It swings back and forth in terms of, you know, the orientation of this mayor versus the orientation of that mayor, and that's okay. That's the normal cycle of things. So, you know, Mike, did a great job for 12 years. I mean, it's kind of unbelievable to be able to serve as mayor for 12 years.
Yeah.
That's a year is a long time in that
that's
job.
kind of what I mean, right? It's not a question about Mary, but it's just kind of like, what do we do now? That feels like it's
because it's been so long.
It's been so long.
People have forgotten what it's like when there is a transition. But I think she started off very well, and I think she is meeting and or exceeding people's expectations so far. That's what I hear.
She, as a 38-year-old, she's a very experienced 38-year-old. Let me tell you something. And everybody can't make the transition from the legislative branch
to
the executive branch. So just because if you've been in, let's say, on council or a state rep or state senator or even a congressperson, going into an executive position, that's apples and bowling balls.
Yeah.
And in this case, with the city, it's a $3.08 billion budget. So you're running a company as the CEO of a major corporation. Her instincts for executive decisions are outstanding from Jump Street. From the minute we started meeting in my office every Wednesday at 3 p.m. to go through, this is what running city government looks like, and these are the kinds of people you may want to think of in terms of populating your cabinet, and these are the how it should be set. I mean, just great. And she's off to a flying start. I mean, no question about it. Really proud of her.
Don't so many things come down to that executive functioning skill? I mean, decisiveness.
Yeah.
I mean, indecisiveness is a killer.
Yes,
it can be a slow killer. Sometimes it doesn't take two. Ability to delegate.
Yeah.
Right. And by the way, packed in decisiveness is this thing of like time versus opportunity versus, it's people that could, they have that formula in their head and they can make decisions. Like, to me, that is, everything else falls really far below that in terms of skills.
You touched it with a needle. Yeah. And so you have to be able to do that in order to get to, I mean, think about it. You got we're 645,000 people in the city of Detroit, and they're all counting on you to make sure that the buses come on time and the trash gets picked up on time and the cops come when you call them, and that, the ambulance gets there in under 8 minutes because that's when tissue dies. Yeah.
And the street lights are on.
And the street lights are on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
When we took office in 2014, there were 88,000 street lights, 44,000 were out.
Yeah.
Now, we've replaced all those old sodium, and we're at the LED. We put up 65,000 new street lights, lit up the city like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, yeah. And that was such a difference maker, right? Like, I think the average person thinks of government, or they don't want to think of government, right? Because they're working, they're living their lives.
Good point.
But you want your trash picked up.
Yes.
You want the street lights on. You want your kids to go to safe schools, and you want them to come home, right? And if all of that is working, then you're not thinking about what's the mayor doing or what's the city council doing or what's the state rep doing, because everything's going smoothly. It is when basic necessities that government has been responsible for isn't working that you're like, what are you doing? Like, when the streetlights were out, it was a major story. It was a major issue.
It was a signal that the lack of lighting was meaning a lack of governance.
Yes.
And light.
No one's paying attention. No one
who's
cares.
paying attention to this stuff?
Yeah, literally.
Who's paying attention? And
it's dark.
It sends a signal about quality of life. Yes. It sends a signal about safety. So many things get tied up in lighting. I'm on the Public Lighting Authority board, and so we're continuing to do like really great things on that. But lights are so important for so many reasons. Even the lights can do some things like in parks. People like to go to Campus Martius, downtown. I remember when Mayor Archer kicked off the whole idea of reclaiming Campus Martius. When I got out of law school, it was like, nothing was there. And so it was kind of putting back what Thomas Jefferson had in mind, there, and we built it out. And the lights all had music, color, sound. It was, all that kind of goes towards, all right, it draws me in, part of kind of bringing us together, drawing you in, making you feel good.
Yeah. I would like to ask the both of you, because you guys are true Detroit insiders, but I mean that in the best way. Like lived, breathed, but also understand the mechanics of what's happening and what you're looking at and power. And then I want to ask you a couple really candid Detroit questions, and I would love candid answers. That's what we do best here.
Fire
and
away.
then maybe we'll get into a little bit of the stuff about Butch that everybody knows.
Okay.
Like the fact that your procrastination technique is to do a spelling
bee.
bees.
I love that.
Jeez.
I just hit genius for today, so.
Good. Okay. All right, we'll get to that. So this is what I wonder a lot. I try to practice not just self-awareness, but this thing where I flip things around and think, well, what is the other person? Let's go way macro here. You've got all kinds of people that in Michigan and outside of Michigan have this generalized positive feeling about Detroit over the last X amount of years. Let's just leave it there, right? We could attribute it to a lot. Heck, our sports teams winning sure helps too. But out of people like from the UP or Gaylord or even Grand Rapids Mouth comes a lot of interesting ways, right, to talk about how the fact that they're now on board or aren't things. I guess what is the most misunderstood thing about the difference between Detroit in 1998 and Detroit today? And then I want to pull on this thread a little bit more to think about like what is like the most like pains the most to be like that's not what happened, but I guess what is really distinctly different and true about this? Like then terrible, now great.
It's what you said. Somebody cares. And it isn't just that kind of, just kind of a throwaway statement. It means that somebody is paying attention to the granular detail and is making sure that whatever that is, as relates to a core city service, somebody's being held accountable for it. What does that mean? Every Wednesday at 9:00 is cabinet. And it is not a fun meeting. It ain't pleasant.
I've heard.
And you sit around this big...
You try not to be called on, right?
Well, there's nowhere to hide because it's a circular table, and so, you've got the chief lawyer, the chief financial officer, the chief of police, the fire chief, the water. We're all sitting around the table, and each one of us has to put on a board, a digital board, about what did we accomplish in this week as measured against the national standard. So let's say in my case, all right, we've been paying on average $30 million a year for lawsuits. We have a goal of reducing that by 50%. How are we going to do that? And so how did Chicago do that in their law department? How did San Francisco? So all that is on there. And if your numbers are out of whack one week, it was like, what? So there's no forgiveness in that whatsoever. If we talked about before when the emergency management EMS crews would have to report on how long it took when somebody called for an ambulance to you actually getting there. You have to get there in under 8 minutes because as I said, that's when tissue dies. Right now it's at 7 minutes and 33 seconds. But 3 EMS directors were fired on the way to getting to that.
Yeah.
So it's not pretty. It is very, very, it's a rough slog. You have to know what is going on in the city and you have to know what's going on around the country and figure out how am I going to make our buses get there within 5 minutes of the published schedule, or I'm going to do these many narcotics raids this week. Why did it fall off those 4 weeks in September?
So it's accountability.
Got to measure it.
It's persistence. But before you answer, I actually want to say, what you did though is you sort of concurred with thematically this idea that then it was really tough and scary and not a place to be, and now it is. Do you agree with that
So I think
characterization?
I think it was. I mean, it was. I mean, there were scary moments, right? But also the city, for me, in my 20s, in the early 2000s, we would party the same way that young people party now. I remember there was a fraternity convention, because historically Black organizations are lifelong commitments, and I think the Alphas had their national convention in Detroit in like 04, 05 or something. Maybe before or after their centennial. And I remember hanging out in the city till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, just walking around downtown, and we were fine. We were fine. There was no, the clubs aren't open at that point anymore. But I think the perception of Detroit versus the reality of Detroit for people who never left, Detroit was always a fun city. Yeah. You could always find good food, great people, have a good time. There's more of that now. But I think the perception has changed. And a lot of it is the hard work that has gone into it, right? Someone cares.
True laudable improvements that are measurable. And
I think we wear our Detroit pride differently now, right? Like in the 90s, there was a T-shirt that said, don't mess with me, I got friends in Detroit, kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
like,
I remember being in Prague or somewhere, a T-shirt that was like Detroit with a gun or something. And you're like,
but now Detroit gear is like Detroit versus everybody, and all these other cities copy the Detroit versus everybody. Or like, again, we talk about our city differently. But we are able to talk about our city differently because of all the work from people that never left, and from government, and from philanthropic philanthropy and businesses. But it did take people caring and people investing in, and that takes a long time. I mean, I think a lot of issues that people have with government in general is it moves too slow, right? You look at the difference from when the Super Bowl was in Detroit versus the NFL draft. My friends and I, we joked about how they had to build hotel rooms, and you had to like take abandoned buildings and kind of fix them up and make clubs or restaurants or whatever. And fast forward to when the draft was in Detroit, all that stuff existed,
it's
right?
not temporary infrastructure.
It was real.
So, well, okay, I'm going to keep pulling on this. Like, does that mean that when suburbia or rural mega moms or whoever are celebrating what Detroit is now, do you celebrate with that? Does that feel good?
I mean, you need everyone, right? It's a group project. And we don't reject. I mean, probably the one thing, if I had a magic wand to change tax structures in Michigan, we should have a local income tax or a local sales tax, so that when the suburban or the UP or whoever come, that we are capturing that dollar and it is staying in Detroit. I mean, I'll take a compliment from anybody. Like, you come to my home city and you have a great time. Tell everyone and don't just talk about the bad stuff.
First of all, Detroit is iconic, and regardless of what's happened from a good governance standpoint over the past several years, and I mean now Detroit is the hottest city in the United States, bar none. It's it's where everybody wants to be, and I'm not sure I ever thought I'd live to see it. I've been here since I was a very, very little boy, and so that's great to see. On the other hand, it's always been really good people in the city. I can't tell you how many people. I went to school at a national law school and got friends all over the country, people who've been here, and let's say they've moved to another place, that's got a sexier name, a San Diego or a Chicago or whatever. They miss Detroit in the first month. Everybody does.
Everybody.
And that's just because we're a really great city with great people. And now I have to say the other thing, the improvements in how people are perceiving and the reality of all those improvements, it's still fragile.
Yeah.
So anything that happens,
easy target maybe.
It means more. I don't feel that as much, that it's an easy target, but even with the national media, not just, but our view is everybody's welcome because you're from the UP, but when you go to Prague or Budapest or Morocco, you're from Detroit.
We're from Detroit.
And so everyone has a stake in the reputational improvements that have happened. And I love how we're so proud of our city, regardless of where we are,
I think I'm a little obsessed with this term shorthand, actually. One of my, I had a
shorthand.
So what is the question? I'm getting to the question of kind of people's perception. What is it shorthand for? Like, well, what are the markers they're looking at? I think about that term a lot for in the evangelical church. There's a lot of shorthand for we say this, but what it actually means is
bless your heart.
Recovering, deconstructing. I think they call it. We can cut this part I'm going to say next because I think it's impossible. It's terrible to bring up, but. The 2000s in Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, I have the decimation that was the opioid crisis. And again, we call it a crisis, which is a nice word. I have on my mom's side of the family, I have relatives where her cousins not only passed, his children are both passed from oxy or eventually heroin overdose. And, I'm in Toledo a few years ago and there's a Narcan truck on the promenade. Nothing like getting Narcan on the promenade. I was riding around with Virgil Smith years ago, and he was showing me the parts of the east side. And this is years back. So things were still, there's been improvements since then. But he talked about the decimation that was the crack epidemic in the 80s, where you lost kind of a generation of parents and like the ripples of that. And clearly, it's very unfair the way we police those things. I mean, coke was a slap on the wrist. Crack, parents, kids lose their dad or mom for like just crazy policy. Even Newt Gingrich was like, that was nuts. But is that eventually what we had to come? Is some of this shorthand for the aftermath of how you had to rebuild from that?
I'm not sure. Our law firm tried and won the opioids case. We represented about 75% of the population of the city, of the state. And one of the key things we had to do is to establish that Michigan wouldn't bar liability for drug companies. We have very strong protections for drug companies in Michigan law because we have so many national drug pharmaceutical companies based in Michigan. We had to overcome that in what they call a bellwether trial right outside of Toledo in Monroe, which the federal judge who was overseeing the national opioids case, it's called the Northern District of Ohio, but it's based in Toledo. He wanted what is a great representative place in the United States for how we determine what goes on with this opioids case. He picked Monroe, which is not a bad microcosm. It has a little downtown.
The Ohio connection.
Got suburbs of Detroit and Toledo. It's got exurbs. It's got, and of course it had been and has been ravaged, by the opioids crisis. So I remember I was talking to one of my chiefs when I was the city's chief lawyer, and she told me that, she said, Butch, my husband went into the hospital for a badly broken leg after a terrible car accident, and he came out a heroin addict.
Yep.
Just because that's how powerful it is. And what I liked about the way that this case was handled versus, let's say, the tobacco class action, they use tobacco settlement money for roads. They use it for anything. This judge said it has to be used for remediation, for helping people with Narcan or whatever, counseling services, what have you. So that, again, is a national issue. It's not a Detroit issue. It's not a UP issue. It's not a West Side. It's everywhere. So, I think when people get up in the morning and put on their, clothes for the day and get their kids ready for school and all that, inside that kitchen table, we're not that different.
No.
We're really not. We kind of all have we want a better life for our kids. We want to be able to have a job that pays, enough for we can save for a college education and buy a home. That's the American dream. So, yeah, we're all over the place, polarization-wise, but I can talk to anybody. I don't care who you are. And what your political philosophy is or your social philosophy. I can talk to anybody and find something in common.
Yeah,
it is there.
Totally.
Yeah.
We have more in common than we have differences, right? I mean, Lindsay, to your point earlier, you said every guest, there's something that we have in common with them. And I think that is, that's symbolic in that most people we're more alike than we are different.
Yeah. So what's the one thing that you want to, when people say things and you have to smile and nod, there's all things like I'm an expert on something and somebody knows a tiny bit and they'll be like, isn't it? And you're like, what's the one thing that you want to be like, Detroit was amazing at this before. This is not new. Or like this, you should have seen it. Like, what's like you talk about iconic. That's because it's gritty and real. And it doesn't feel like some of these fake cities in 50 years, just sprung up.
Right.
Like, what is the thing that is not new that's so great?
To me, Detroit is the Great Migration happened because Detroit was a land of opportunity. I think that opportunity in Detroit still exists. It has always existed. My father worked his way from Mississippi to Detroit with a middle school education to work for the car companies. And when he died, he was a property owner, landlord, whatever, and had made a decent life for his family. We obviously that he was born in the 30s. Life is different now, but that opportunity still exists. Like that grit that we talk about, the realness, it's there, and opportunity exists. You just gotta be willing to work for it.
Yeah.
And, you look at what's going on now. I mean, the city is being flooded with young, high-tech workers. They're coming in every, all over the place. When Ford redid the train station, you've got people, people from, let's say, San Francisco, who are following the investment capital for high-tech. And they're like, well, wait, I can buy a house in Detroit, or I can have a rent that's a fraction of what I'd pay in the Bay Area. And I'm in the place where there's more engineers per capita than any other place in the world. So I have this vision for what I want to do in AI, and there's actually people here that can build the damn thing. Yeah. So it's pretty good.
Phase 2.
Yeah.
Great. Well, this is insightful. Tennis. Debate.
I played tennis too. That is the thing. I mean, we've talked about this, but
you're a tennis player?
Yeah, I play tennis, not now, but I mean, I'd like to play again. But I played in high school at Finney.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I used
golf
to get
too.
on that bike. I had a purple 5-speed banana bike. And
Was it your sister's before, or did it used to be your sister's?
It was mine. My parents got me a purple bike, whatever, when I was little. And I'd ride it up to Palmer Park, tennis courts. And from, I guess, 4th grade on. That's kind of my sport. So, and those same guys, when I was a kid, that were up there, they're still up there now.
Yeah. You're inspiring me. Okay, I got to work on this so that next summer I am more, I'm ready to play tennis.
Good.
Have you played pickleball yet?
I can't do that.
You can't. Okay, I haven't
That
played
feels
yet.
like
ping pong?
blasphemy to me. That feels like such a sellout. I can't even
We've had
form my
some very
words.
controversial pickleball talks on this before, so you're in good company.
Really? No, I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like no. I'm a tennis player.
Okay.
And I'm not going to sell out. To pick. I'm not mad at you for doing that, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to hit the tennis ball.
So tennis, debate. You did a lot of fancy things. Like I just, you can't help but feel like an underachiever when you're talking to Butch. But music. So we've got this in common, although I don't do much with music a lot. I do some karaoke.
You do. So you sing.
I did on Saturday.
You did.
I mean, I wouldn't.
What'd you sing?
I entertain. That's what I do.
You do. Okay.
What I'm saying. I sang in my friend's like brother-in-law's bedroom with like 8 people that were much older than me and lovely. I mean, that's where I sang.
Well, Lindsay, I think you're downplaying it because I've learned from this podcast that Lindsay is like is it a flute or clarinet player? And
I played a lot of instruments.
Yes.
And I could play
you're
by ear.
holding back.
She is holding back.
But the point is, it's not part of my. At 3, my parents come in and I'm playing songs, right? So that's how my ear was really good. So I immediately got in piano lessons, and then I played several instruments, and I was pretty good at some, and the others I was like, ugh, I don't like this, so I didn't really. Or oboes, I'd break a reed every day. It was like $8 a day for me to play the oboe. It's this like delicate thing, and you know me. I was like, there goes another one.
So you're musical.
My band tab, I'm pretty sure I couldn't graduate because I had like a $400 tab with the band director. I did graduate, but Butch though so I'm at a Christmas party, and our good friends are like, we have to leave. We have to go to a Hanukkah party. Mark's playing music there, and I'm like, okay, cool. You know, it's kind of early, but. And then the next day on your Facebook, I'm like, is that Butch with Mark Finger? Yeah. So I have this great friend, and actually he's going to write us a song for this. I switched the name of the podcast on him, so he had to scrap what he had going, but he was going to write us our own song.
Oh.
He may. But yeah, so my good friend here and Butch are like strumming the acoustic guitar together at some party, some Hanukkah party in Lansing. I'm like, how is that possible?
I mean, it makes the world go round. Music does in particular. I was just reading something about it's the best thing that you can do for your brain.
Yes. My mother
learning a language and playing an instrument.
Yeah.
It's not just necessarily enjoying music, but it's actually engaging in the process of trying to figure out an instrument.
When I go back to read music, like I'll pick out a piano song, I want something out of a Bach. It takes me a lot longer, but I'm like, wow, the fact that I do several notes in my left hand, several notes in my right hand, the beats per measure, whether it's loud, I can't even remember, allegro, fast, slow. There's all these, are they Italian words that I used to know them all for how fast versus how loud, staccato, short. But I'm like, God, the fact that I would do all of that so fast, all at once, is pretty wild.
Left lobe, right lobe, prefrontal, all of those are firing at the same time. And I never knew that. And for me, I won't play it unless I can sing it. My mom was an opera singer. She cut a record when she was 12.
Okay, wow.
And I didn't know I could sing. Honestly, until I was just driving one day, and my sisters were the ones who were the talented musicians. They both
are opera singers as well, or they're
They both went to Interlochen. One for harp, the other for concert piano. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And I had no time for it growing up. None.
Yeah.
I every time I would be asked to go to piano lessons was time that I wasn't playing baseball. Mm-hmm. You know, but 20 years ago, when I just decided driving, I think I was driving our cottage, and it just said, I'm going to play the guitar. So I got that Guitar for Dummies DVD, very patient. Here's how you make a D, here's how you make a C, whatever, and forget it. I was gone from then on.
Now, what do you mean you won't play it if you can't sing it?
I won't play it if I can't sing it.
Does that mean you won't play classical music that doesn't have a melody line, or you're saying if you can't get in your range to the notes that are in the song?
For example, Canon in D.
Yeah.
The wedding song.
Pachelbel.
I absolutely will. I will hum that, the melody while I'm playing the classical notes for that on my guitar. So there's got to be something that's going to come out of me when I'm playing it.
Why?
I don't enjoy it the same way.
Oh, if you can't sing?
What's that?
If you can't sing, you don't enjoy it.
I don't like just, I can play it, and I will do that. I just don't like doing it. And you know what? Most, a small percentage of guitar players actually sing and play at the same time. Very small percentage. And people want to hear. They want to hear people sing. They want to, so it's some people are so much better than I am at guitar. You know, they're just incredibly gifted. I'm okay. You know, but people, if I'm singing it, that's what they want to listen to. A voice. It's part of the human connection piece. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So I want to sing it.
And your one non-essential item, if you're, I don't think maybe it was a guitar.
It's a book.
It was a book. Okay, because I said if you're stuck on a desert island, you get to pick one item. You know, people are like, I'll have whatever. There's something important that they can use for things. I'm always like hand lotion, because if I have
hand lotion,
dry hands make me like I'd rather just walk off and drown than not have hand lotion. Then I have thought recently though I could do chapstick, because you can do that. That can where you can't put lotion on your lips. Anyways, I don't like dry things.
Carmex, yeah, for sure.
I think that's a UP thing. Yeah, but you said a book. A book. What does he do when he procrastinates? He does the spelling bee app. I'm like, do you have anything like trashy about you at all? Is there anything that you do? Do you eat
reality TV,
like some nasty snacks?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, how about this? I love cleaning fish. How about that?
Well, that's a means to an end to eating fish, which is kind of a highbrow thing to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I eat 3 bowls of Cheerios every night.
Okay.
How about that?
We're getting somewhere.
You know?
That's pretty middle America of you.
You know? I mean,
what kind of size is the bowl?
A Jethro Bodine size bowl.
3 of those?
I mean...
How are your triglycerides?
Well, it's heart healthy.
That's a lot of carbohydrate. There's not enough fiber to... You need to throw steak in there like me.
Let me tell you something. I don't play with my Cheerios.
Okay.
Top it with some brown sugar every night. That's my dessert.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've been doing this Would You Rather game, which is fun, but we're mixing it up. Okay.
Lindsay springs these things on me.
And I basically just said, trust me. And so far she has not gotten angry.
No.
Or
fun.
like.
It's fun.
By the way, you did say a lot of people talk to you about the kangaroo, that you don't want to fight a kangaroo. So that
there have been some conversations about the fight of
let's just ask
what
him.
was
Would
it?
you rather fight a badger or a kangaroo?
Oh, kangaroo. Badgers, you cannot. Badgers are the most... Badgers, Wolverines, and Fishers. Those 3...
What the heck's a fisher?
It's the same thing. It's the same family.
Is it like they're all the little clawed...
They're not little. They don't back down, and they won't let go. They're the most fierce things you can... Kangaroo, I'm going to take my chance.
I was told, beware... hang out with a bear before you hang out with a badger.
No question about it.
Oops, sorry. My notes are on my phone now, by the way. I'm not just trying to be that rude. The first thing I think we could do, because I have a little book that I do this with my kids every year on their birthday. It's like an interview book. It's just word association. So we'll start with, you can just pop off with one of these words, or you could just say one word that comes to your mind, or you could just frown. So we're not gonna put a lot of structure to this right now in terms of I want a concrete thought or one word. Crocs.
Grandkids.
Okay. One word, that works. Norway.
Soccer.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now again, if something rattles your cage, you tell us. David Hasselhoff.
Pass.
Just got nothing. Got nothing. That one came up because I was listening to the Dateline podcast, as one does, or the After the Dateline podcast,
yes,
the Talking Dateline.
I enjoy
Andrea
that.
Canning is who's she's really going to be their new Keith Morrison someday. I was like, I used to be David Hasselhoff's nanny, and I'm like,
wow.
It's the wildest fact ever.
Baywatch.
Yeah, or Baywatch.
I got nothing.
You got nothing. Pokemon.
Kids.
Okay. Anything? You got any Pokemon experiences, or you spent obscene amounts of money on cards or anything? Because I have.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's all they cared about when they were growing up. Yeah.
Parsnip.
Parsnip.
Yeah.
Blank.
Nothing. Do you have any feelings about a parsnip?
No.
Okay. No. This game is a test. It might be flunking.
It's a Rorschach test or whatever they used to say.
Windshield.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Serendipity. Got any serendipitous stories? Besides you and Mark Finger being at the Hanukkah party together?
Yeah, I mean, I have so many, random connections. So, I don't know, just random connection.
Okay, yeah. Let's just do one or two more now that I mention it. Toledo.
Opioids.
Well, I probably planted that seed. Oscillating.
Space.
Okay.
Solar system kind of thing.
Bedtime.
Can't sleep. Oops, sorry, two words.
No, actually, I was giving you permission to use as many words as you wanted.
I don't sleep very well.
Okay.
And so I've existed most of my life with like 5 hours of sleep at night. And I've got so many friends like, that's just not good.
And you're fine.
I seem to do okay, but I know I should sleep more.
Well, but people who need to sleep more, we feel it. Like if I sleep 6 hours instead of 8 a couple nights in a row, I'm like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, or I just can't function at all. So if you're going through life with 5 hours a night and you're like, then you probably are good. Don't you think?
I think it was like 4 hours last night.
Did you feel terrible today? Did you punch someone?
No, I mean, I felt a little groggy, when I got up but it passed in about half hour.
So you have been sipping on coffee.
I do that. Yeah.
Nonstop.
I should have stock in Starbucks.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to switch gears because nothing's hard for you. So I got this book, Psych 101.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
More uh-oh.
You can call me Dr.
It is double uh-oh.
Dr. Lindsay.
Yeah.
I want to show you some photos.
Okay.
Some pictures.
Oh no,
Rorschach.
I knew this was.
And
yeah,
you're gonna have to give me I have a lot of notes to refer to, so you're gonna have to give me a minute. But I want you to really take your time and look at this. And this is the opposite of rapid fire. You can take what you need and really tell me how you feel.
Okay.
About the first.
That looks like a werewolf to me.
The first Rorschach.
Yeah, that looks like a werewolf.
Okay.
It definitely looks like a wolf or a fox, one of the two. But that's what jumps off the page for me right away. I'm more on the vampire side than I am on the wolf man side of things. I'm definitely more of a vampire, but that is our enemy. So that's the werewolf.
What part of the picture is the werewolf?
So at the very bottom is his nose. The two, you see the little dot coming down from the very bottom.
Yeah.
And so his ears, are the top left, top right. The eyes are the two white triangles on either side, right above the bridge. And yeah.
Now I can see it. That was not like. I mean, if we're going vampires and wolves, it looks more like a bat. But my first thought was, it looks like a bug smashed.
A bug smashed.
Yeah,
no,
it looks like
so that's going to be an interesting diagnosis.
Oh, no.
Now, is the whole thing the bug smashed?
Yes.
The entire thing?
Absolutely, yeah.
So a bug smashed.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I see the werewolf.
Yeah.
Welcome to your new personality disorder.
Yeah.
Those are two those are two Asians. It looks ancient Chinese. They are confronting each other and joining their hands in like a common spirit thing. It looks like it's from ancient China, ancient Japan.
So can you next time think about it and then tell me what you first saw?
Okay, I don't know what I first saw, but as soon as he said it, I was like, yeah, I totally see that.
Okay, so the whole picture. What's the color? What are the red? What's the red?
The red is it's like a hat, kind of an ancient head covering, and it's a black, whether it's a kimono or a full colored dress, the black, and then.
A boot, if you will.
Yeah. Well, their feet are down here.
Their feet are
and
touching.
These are their hands being a joint.
Their hands are touching.
Why are their feet red?
I don't know.
Okay, we're gonna do one more, and actually, we're gonna do this one.
Wait, the second one?
Those are two people that are playing a drum. Well, it's so in the middle there is, to me, that's a drum, and they're playing a drum. There's a little butterfly in the middle that's hovering for how the beat is going, but they're looking at each other and they're
Hovering for how the
playing a
beat
drum.
is going.
That is so interesting, because not at all what I saw. This looks like the pelvic bone.
Okay.
And I got nothing else because I wholly focused on this was like a pelvis. These could be legs, but it doesn't make sense that they are legs, but this looks like a pelvic bone.
Right. Well, let the doctor consult my notes. Why don't you
we
guys
got to remember
talk
that
amongst yourselves.
I took anatomy, the one with the where you work on the body. So sometimes I go back to that. Are you consulting your notes?
You guys need to talk for a moment. It's going to be
Butch and I will talk about amongst ourselves.
I mean, you asked what I saw, and it's, I'm sure it is psychologically revealing. I'm just not sure how.
Yeah. Lindsay started by talking about you have an artist's mind. So it's interesting because I feel like you saw art at least in 2 out of the 3 of those.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that is how I think.
Yeah.
Yep. And everybody in my family, in my immediate family, got that art gene. All of us. My sister's is musicians. Another sister's a singer. My dad with sketching, and I have a sister who is lighting Hollywood on fire. She's one of the hottest costumers in Hollywood. My sister Danielle, I call her Mimi, but it's everybody got the art gene. Most of them are surgeons, but they still, all of them got it, and all of us got the language gene too.
How many languages do you speak?
Well, I'm pretty fluent in Spanish. I'm learning Italian now. I know a little bit of French.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's clearly. We'll wait for Dr. Lindsay over here for her diagnosis, but you saw art in 2 out of 3 pictures. Yeah.
For sure.
Could you remind me exactly what you said about the wolf?
The wolf?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what I said was it was, it looked like the wolf. It's opposite of, I'm very pro vampire, so it's on the opposite side of vampire for me. It's you're one or the other. You can't, it's Michigan State. You're not in. You can't straddle that line. You're one or the other.
Okay. Well, so the good news is you generally are tracking with a normal-ish response here.
Ish.
Okay. Now, what's normal about it is that you looked at the whole object. Okay, you didn't pick like a weird part of it, and that's why I asked you to clarify. Now, this term incongruous combination, the example is a bear with wings. Now, when you start throwing vampire in there, I'm like, is that what we're doing? Are we getting incongruent here? But as far as personality disorders go.
Just how we back into that one. Personality.
Yeah.
Now I'm nervous.
You might have a bit
ahead,
of what they
shoot your
call
shot.
a fabulized combination, describing an
Fabulized?
impossible cartoonish interaction between objects. Now, you referred to the vampire a lot, even though the wolf, it wasn't like it just. So you did get a little fabulized.
Yeah.
There.
Well, I saw what I saw.
But the bad one is for Shaquila here.
Oh no.
Thematic special core scores with an emotional vibe. These scores detect the psychological undercurrents, traumas, or preoccupations. As she says, smashed bug, a dead bird, a torn leaf, a bear with a sad face. Strongly correlate with clinical depression. Whoopsie.
Oh my gosh. It's not true.
Sounds like you need a good lawyer.
I do. I like to keep a few lawyers in my circle.
Messed the HIPAA
I always
test
got room
up.
for more.
Right.
Yeah. Talk about I do number 2, the fact that in a commune, you're going to be the chef?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've always cooked. You know, on my mom's side, we're Creoles. And so my mom's side of the family, we came up from Louisiana. And I mean, it probably took me 15 years of making gumbo before it was acceptable to my family. I mean, a long time, over a decade.
Okay.
You know, there is a real, and that is the kind of the acid test. But I cook everything. Like when I was in college, we were talking about that. That's how I made money. You know, I worked in the, I was the breakfast chef, and I washed dishes, but I love cooking. So I would do that at the commune, and then also I, until I got to law school, I was a painter. I was a commercial painter, and so I would paint the buildings at the commune. Put it that way. I have a real steady hand. I love painting. I want to make sure that, you can't even tell where the brush strokes are. I mean, it needs to be like the paint was laid on. I fired my best friend because we painted together, and he was messy, and he liked to do a roller with just on the garages while I was doing like the hard work behind the bushes, painting the window panes and stuff. I said, I love you, but we're not painting together anymore.
You're not the same kind of people.
No. So I love to paint. I would do that today. I really would. I loved it, out there. I was working my own hours, was out on the ladder at a radio, on a coat hanger, that was hanging from the ladder and out in the sun, take your shirt off. I loved it and made good money. I was making more money painting houses than I was when I started at Dykema the summer after my first year of law school.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just love it. So anyway, I'd cook for them and I'd paint.
You paint. Again, the creative spirit continues. I have a set of cousins, 4 girls, and we all got together back in 22 after the election. And I found out one is a former principal. She had retired. One was at the time an FBI agent and was higher up in the FBI and was on the verge of retirement. I bake a little bit. The former principal is like a baker. Like now she is in her retirement.
What's your favorite thing to bake?
Pound cakes. Yeah. Yeah. My
do you
mom,
do it with like pears or?
Just a plain butter.
Yum.
Yeah. Just sprinkle a little powdered sugar if you want a little razzle dazzle. But that's it.
I think I got good news.
You got good news? Okay.
Okay. Did you say, we're going to go to object 3. Did you say that was 2 people playing music?
Yeah.
That was object 2.
Yes. You can see
That
the
was
little.
This one.
Oh,
Yeah,
he did
you
say
see that little
yes, he
drum?
said they
You
were
said-
playing
See
that little
drum.
circular
you're
drum
right.
Play
in
the drum.
between them?
Okay. So this is good for you. Because, by the way, if you would have said it was a mirror image of someone, you would be a narcissist. So too bad. I mean, so great that you didn't. But you do have something great going on here, which is, excuse me, a positive sign of social awareness. You've seen them lifting a pot together, bowling, dancing. You have a high level of social awareness. Now, Shaquila, bad news.
Bad news.
Again.
Because I focused on one thing. Yeah.
You focus on one item. You also, this is a joke, right?
Yes. No.
This is a shitty way to get someone's personality, by the way. That's what I wanted to do. It was like,
But
this
it's
is the most
super interesting to see what you
Okay.
see.
Yeah.
What you see.
problem with this is because you talked about that you took anatomy class. So if your answer implicates your own experiences, you're defensive.
Really?
Indicates it.
Well, but that's fair. I don't want to be defensive.
It's also, this is,
What do you
again,
mean I'm defensive?
this is garbage.
the hell do you mean?
But maybe what they're trying to say is like, oh, you need to bring like a piece of evidence along with your answer to support it or something. So you're defensive and depressed. I'm sorry about all that.
Oh my gosh! I know some people that would agree with you.
But I gotta work on this in terms of like I want to have memorized the BS like implications of you saying pelvis and him saying two drummers. Now the butterfly thing, if I would go digging, there was something implicated, I think positive, by the fact that you, or a little curious, and I don't think it's like disordered, but that you mentioned another object, but that was also like interplaying with the beat.
Yeah.
So like a connected object. I'll get back to you on that.
Well, and if you ever follow The
psychopath.
Sopranos, and if you follow The Sopranos and Dr. Melfi,
Yes.
Tony's psychiatrist, she would say, that the butterfly, I didn't think about it until you just said it just now, is transformation. It's
optimism. I felt
Tony had
sure.
killed one of his crew members because he killed the horse, and he got so pissed off he killed Ralphie. And in his dreams, he saw Ralphie in the car with him, and he had a caterpillar on the back of his head in one of his dreams afterwards, and then it slowly turned into something that flew away, and he was talking to Dr. Melfi about it in one of his counseling sessions. He said, something has happened to that individual. Of course, he didn't tell him that he'd killed him, but there was some transformation that's going on.
So best shows of all time, 1, 2, 3.
1 is Sopranos for sure.
I'm with you.
2 is Succession for sure.
It's great.
And 3 probably West Wing for me, but so I would say those 3 are tops, for me. So
I'm going to throw in. I'm going to say I don't watch I don't watch anything related to politics. It's just one of those it icks me out. I don't know. I've been told you're lost, but whatever. I've managed. I'm going to throw in Peaky Blinders.
I love Peaky Blinders.
And I would say before it got a little wacky at the end, but Boardwalk Empire.
I've seen the whole thing probably 4 times.
Yeah.
Nucky Thompson.
How about you? What are you going to throw in the
I'm
mix?
not a big TV watcher. This is
Ever? These shows are 20 years old.
I never saw an episode of Sopranos.
Oh my God!
I know.
Shaquila, it is.
Tony is a part of my family.
That good. And Tony, the acting, that's why I think Cillian Murphy from Peaky Blinders and Tony Soprano are the same. They're like, get into your...
I tried with Succession. I just
You
never
didn't like
made
it?
No, it's not that I didn't like it. I just didn't continue. I probably needed a third watch. It took me like 3 or 4 tries to get into Game of Thrones. I did see Game of Thrones all the way through. I feel like I need a second watch, but I am in the minority where I did not hate the ending. I think one of the worst TV endings of all times is How I Met Your Mother.
Can't say
but
I've seen it.
Yeah, I know that's okay. But yeah, I've never seen any of these shows really that you guys are talking about.
I mean, Succession. That was King Lear, among the billionaire class is what that was. So.
Any reality TV for you?
Alone. I love that show. So it's a national. So do you know that show? It's basically they get these survival experts in the wild, and they pick them from different places around the world. They put them in a location, let's say at the base of the Arctic Circle. You can bring 9 things with you.
Hand lotion, chapstick.
Hand lotion is the top choice of everyone that goes on that. I don't know how you knew that. But you might take a bow and arrow. You may take a ferro rod to help you start a fire. You may take a combination axe saw. And your whole thing is they drop you off and you are there until you...
I'm stressed just listening to you talk about it. That makes me so... Like we've overcome these things. Don't go purposely looking for them.
They do give you bear spray. That's the one thing that they do give you. Because bears will tear down your thing. Yeah.
Let alone one more little nugget on this. I'm going to throw back to John Horford. Would you rather be 3 roommates in a studio apartment or live in a cabin in the woods alone?
Totally cabin in the woods alone.
Who are they?
Really?
Easily.
But okay, let's just say it's for 2 years.
I like my own company.
That just as your only option?
I love being in nature. I mean, I feel like when I'm in the country, I've come home. That's how I breathe different.
Yeah, but for like a week.
No, listen.
Years. You're good with it.
I'm not sure if I wouldn't go crazy there, but to me I wouldn't even be a conversation. I could envision myself fishing and hunting and
well, this floors us. We're both extroverts. Yes. I'm just like shook by this answer every time. But I do want to push back with you on one item, which is, speaking of good TV, both Walter and Saul, Better Call Saul, really decayed once they had to go off the grid. Now, one of them, I guess, was working at a Cinnabon in a mall, so he was not in the mountains.
Yeah.
But Walter was, I mean, that dude aged like a decade or two in 6 months or a year. So I want you to think about that.
Okay, I promise.
If you're up against this choice, think about that.
I promise. You know what? He got me to drink Coca-Cola again. I don't know if you remember. He was in the desert with the other drug dealers, and they were saying, well, why don't we just kill you now? What do we need you for? Yeah. And he says, because you're making your meth is some off cola brand, whereas I'm making classic Coke. And the way he put his feeling into that classic Coke, I was like, you know what? That's a damn good drink.
Have that with your Cheerios.
I mean, well, maybe.
Could be worse.
Yeah.
Combos.
Yeah. So it's not good for you, and I don't drink it that much.
But every once in a while.
Every once in a while. Yeah.
And I have a classic Coke.
I'm going to throw a
glass bottle.
Yeah.
Well, that's a superior drinking experience. Although I just met with the regional vice president of McDonald's, and she flew in to meet with me about Mary Sheffield and about some things that McDonald's would like to see in Michigan. And so I was kind of meeting with them to go through that. And she was telling me that the Coke that you get at McDonald's is different than any other kind of Coke in the world.
What?
Yes.
They store it in these sterling silver canisters, and so that gives it a slightly different flavor than any place else you're going to get it. And the straw is different. The straw of that you get for a Coke at McDonald's is the opening is slightly bigger than normal straws. They're bigger than normal straws.
Okay, so just the McDonald's straw.
The McDonald's straw for Coca-Cola is different at McDonald's than any other place. And so I said, what's the point? She said, when you take the sip from the straw of that Coke, it delivers more of a punch.
Wow.
So I just met with her like about a month ago.
I believe you. People who are Coke drinkers will drive to McDonald's for a Coke and a Diet Coke. If you're whichever one is your thing, they're like, I need a Diet Coke from McDonald's or whatever.
That's so crazy.
I am not a cola drinker. I'm not much of a pop drinker either. But I have heard that from people who are true. So I believe her.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, this was great.
This was
we
amazing.
really
did I pass
from Pokemon to opioids.
We covered the gamut.
Yeah. Are you gonna help me go after the kratom manufacturers now with this opioid experience?
Maybe. Yeah,
okay, I love a maybe.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. It was
cool.
fun.
Yeah.
This was great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, we loved it.
All right.
All right.